The focus of my art is really, it goes beyond the subject matter, and it's more about the dialogue that I have with paint while I'm painting. And it's more about the exploration of my own medium, paint, versus actually learning, like cultivating a skill to telling the paint what to do. I'm actually practicing honing in and cultivating my own skill to be able to let paint have its own nature within my painting process. So it's the paintings, when I have a finished painting, it's really a product of a collaboration between me and paint. So I try to have it be like a 50-50 thing. So the paint is having its own nature and it will express itself in different textures or different gravities. And I'm just there to influence it versus manipulating it. So that's really the overarching focus of my work. Well, I wanted to really approach it in the same way that I approach canvases and new works. And I didn't like the idea of, having us like pick a nice image and be like, ooh, that will print really nice on a shirt, and just like cut it out and slap it on there. I feel like the shirt in itself already has value. And so I wanted to have the shirt be a part of the process from the beginning on. And I wanted to have the shirt organically join what I was doing. So when I'm working on paintings, the paintings in front of me, that's like my conscious process. And then all the marks that happen around me are kind of the subconscious marks and the subconscious process. And for people that have ever seen my studio, like the studio floor is just like a pretty chaotic mess. Yet for me, one of my most important sources of inspiration and a source for me to study the paint's vocabulary. And so I was like, okay, I'll take the shirt and I'll tape it down where I'm now working. All the marks that happen outside, because I just like kind of let it go wherever it wants to go. The shirt will eventually kind of become the floor, and so my goal was like, as soon as the shirt becomes the floor, like when there's no shirt anymore and it's like completely blended in, then the shirt's finished, and then we'll peel it off and see if that worked. And so it's like more of an experiment, but again, kind of working with this kind of controlled process of, setting boundaries, certain boundaries, like the shirt will disappear, but not knowing the exact outcome and learning from it. And so that's what happened. We taped it down and I started painting, and I painted about, I think maybe 5 paintings over the course of the shirt living there. And then the shirt just really took on form, and then it was like really exciting. It was like Christmas to peel it off. For, then translating it into print. So now you have the shirt with lots of texture where, like it's basically not wearable because it is like, a piece of like chunky painty art on a shirt. Ripping off the tape and seeing how clean the edges actually stayed. One of the most exciting things was like then actually looking at the back of it, and then there was like pretty much an extra print happening. And it's like, oh, whoa, this is now starting to relate to actually printing something on a shirt. And then we took the shirt and I turned it inside out. And then there was like the most beautiful print again on the back side of the shirt. That was just like, oh, whoa, like we made a homemade print. Actually, that which we were seeking to begin was to print something on the shirt. And now it's like these parallel, like the processes, like my natural process and the process of actually print making are meeting. We decided to move forward actually with the inner print, which wasn't expected to even be there at all. So it was like learning from all these accidents and all these like, things that happen very organically. And that's again part of my process of keeping an open mind to how things unfold, and like, keeping that space for accidents to happen and like have them be important in the process. The print that we're actually doing, since it's in the inside, it came from the inside of the shirt, is now being printed also inside out on the shirt to be very consistent with the whole process that the shirt actually went through. Well, the challenge at the end was to then take this three-dimensional, very textural and colorful object, which was like the shirt, and translating it into now the printing process. And so what we really felt strongly about, and like what I really wanted to do, is actually highlight what gets lost in a printing process, which is the texture. So we decided to discard the color altogether and print the texture in black and white. So it's like kind of the ghost is being printed on the white shirt. And so the focus was also, was keeping it black and white. It's kind of like an homage to going back to the beginning where you start, it was the white shirt, it was the white canvas. So it goes back to a very, it implies a beginning versus an end of the process.